everything you do is creating, whether you're conscious of creating or not conscious of creating, right? Like David says, just make it up. So, am I conscious in what I do? When I put my earrings on in the morning, am I thinking about this turquoise color and what it represents to me? Or these specific earrings and what they represent to me? When I put this white jacket on, am I thinking about what that does to my aura? As you put that green dress on before your performance, were you conscious? You were conscious, I know you were, about the effect and the tone and the quality of what that would do to your performance, right? That's something you consciously brought to your performance. So there are things that you can do to bring consciousness to everything you do. When you cook, what are you doing? When you're eating, what are you doing? I took this mantra, I created a mandala for this particular teacher of mine, and I chanted this mantra for 20 hours straight, putting it over this mandala. And when he received that mandala, he said, my entire arm is vibrating. And if any of you know Hari Jivan, you know that he just doesn't say stuff like that offhand. Everything you do has power, and your intention imbues that power in what you do. This is another mandala that I created for a specific person. I put 30 hours of mantra into it. She's a most amazing woman. She was one of Yogi Bhajan's personal assistants and is the keeper of the archives. So she probably knows more about Kundalini Yoga than anybody in the world. And I'm really blessed to have her as a teacher. And I consider her to be a self-realized person, which is why there's the blue lotus in the middle. The blue lotus represents self-realization. And so I was thinking of her, and the mantra that I used was Bandajamye, which is in honor of women. But you saw those like flaming heart things. I mean, those are like gross. I was like, I hate these. I was working on it at a friend's house, and I'm like, where are these coming from? And they're ruining my mandala. And I was like, I'm just going to throw this away because I don't like it. And he's like, no, no, no. You absolutely have to finish this mandala. I don't know why, but you have to finish it. I'm like, I'm slogging through it. And so I go to this workshop where this particular teacher is teaching, and I'm finishing it up on this like third day of the workshop. And I'm putting the final golden touches on it and everything, and I'm still chanting away. And she hasn't seen it, and then I come back to class after lunch, and we do a 30-minute meditation with this mantra, with Bandajamye. So she's leading us, this is her page, in this meditation. And afterwards, she stops and she says, I've got to tell you guys what just happened to me. This has never happened before. I was sitting on the stage and you were chanting Bandajamye, and I could hear my teacher talking to me, and he said, just sit still. He said, this is a very important group of people, and I have a lot to give them. I have a lot that I need to give them through you. She said, and I could just feel his energy pouring through me like I was an open door. She said, and I felt like I was sitting in an oven. I've never been on fire in my entire life like this. I felt like I was sitting in the flames. So again, whatever you do with intention, you are imbuing what you are creating. I am nothing special. I am nothing special. You have the same exact abilities when you focus your intention to make this kind of impact, to have those kinds of results in your lives and in the lives of others. So this is another one I did. I think we get to the, okay, so this one, you can have unexpected results. I did this one chanting the Mool Mantra, which changes your destiny to prosperity. And people have actually had good financial results buying it and selling things that they didn't think they would ever. And altar cloths. This is the one that the root chakra one I just did for Ganesh Chaturthi. All I want to say about this, I guess, is just, be conscious. Live your life in a conscious way. And you can have so much more impact on your own life and on the lives of others than you really even imagine that you can, if you can just be focused. And that's what you did here tonight. You were focused with us. And you received the gift that we had to give you, and it was an amazing gift that we received from you to be able to be here and be with you. So thank you again, and now everybody has to
we just wanted to come up and, as a group, thank each and every one of you for coming and taking the time out of your day and just being present with us. And I want to thank the group for being here and sharing your creative energy in each individual way. And we also wanted to open the floor to everybody if you guys had really brief questions for any of the processes of expression that we had here this evening. So it's kind of like a Q&A.
I wanted to know what portion of your performance was choreographed and what portion was improvised.
None of it was choreographed, and I was kind of struggling with it the whole time that I was creating this event. So I just did what I feel comfortable doing, which is improvised movement. And I just bought the dress, and that was just kind of like, I need something to kind of bring it together. And then I decided the music, I think, this afternoon. And then when I got here, I asked Jeffrey, I'm like, hey, can you put a couple of words together before I go on? And he did that. So I just wanted it to be more of a personal experience for everybody, because I just find that improvisation is very meaningful. It's very much like poetry being spoken right on the spot. So yeah.
I have a question for Jorge. Did your father and mother get you into photography, or did you just kind of discover it on your own?
I felt I was born with it. My parents gave me a camera just when I was about her age, 12, something like that. And I climbed a mountain and I began taking pictures. And when I developed the film, I just knew that's what I had to do that. So yeah, it's just really, like everybody's saying in one way or another here tonight, is truly following, just truly following your calling. Whatever calling you have, just follow it, and claim it. I mean, just claim who you are. I mean, just don't doubt yourself. We're all awesome. But we just doubt so much. So, yeah.
Great example for your daughter.
Well, she's becoming her own being.
I have a question. Were those original compositions all of those?
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. I wrote I wrote those songs. By the way. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that part. Yeah, they were. Even the one that I couldn't remember.
I have a question for Jeffrey, actually. I was very fascinated with your dance. I've never seen a dance like this by a man in a woman's dress. Can you tell a little bit more about how you conceived that and what it meant exactly to you?
How much time do we have? 30 seconds.
Give a bite size. The elevator.
It came as well from studying Tantra. For me, all of been what I've heard called a goddess-identified man. I've been recently I found a book of poems by Rilke, and there's a whole section on roses. And I was really taken by his poems about the roses, and particularly these descriptions of the rose not being a static, still thing, but being this vibrating, spinning life. And so for a while, reading those poems and digesting those poems, that symbol of the rose became sort of a penultimate symbol of Shakti for a moment, for goddess as pure energy and pure potential. And so I was thinking of, for instance, a hummingbird courting the rose. And here's this rose that's the symbol of beauty, and she's still and she's at the center. If I were a bird courting a rose, how do you get a rose to pay attention to you? So for me, my dancing is all about this dynamic between Shiva and Shakti, between extroversion and introversion. It's about the opposing forces. I didn't have a costume until yesterday. And I've been going to thrift stores, and I thought maybe the rose would be a number of skirts layered. I looked for a crinoline because they're big and puffy and like dancing in crinoline. And yesterday I went to a thrift store that I've been to, I don't know, 3 to 5 times in the last week, and I go through all the skirts, and I go right for the rose colors. And I wouldn't find anything. And I was walking out, and hanging on the new arrivals rack was this dress. And it was perfectly rosy.
And it fit you.
I know.
So then once I had that element, it became, it's one thing for a man to get in a dress and then come up here and dance as a woman. It would be one thing for me to get up, put on the dress, and then dance the rose. So instead, once I found the dress, I had to dance Shiva rather than dancing Shakti, to bring out the masculine that's inherent in the feminine, because really that's all it was about, was this dynamic between masculine and feminine.
It's very beautiful, thank you.
I posted some poetry on the wall in the lobby, and that poetry came out of the same process, same creative process.
Any other questions for anyone on the panel?
I have another one for Kathleen. So Diego had told me about you actually. He was like, you have to hear her. She's just got the sweetest voice and blah, blah, blah. So your music is really happy, and I was totally in a grumpy mood. And it totally made me happy. So are you always a happy person? Or are you
Remember the song Rage?
That was like the happiest rage I've ever heard.
I think this one could tell you here that I'm not always the happiest person. It's the distinct challenge of living with me. But my natural vibration is joy for sure.
Yeah.
Right? And like music is magical because it it's a carrier of information that we don't, it bypasses the brain and goes straight to the heart and the body and the cells and the soul and like the light that you actually are. Music carries like spherical frequencies of light, and so like when you listen to music, you're getting an infusion of energy. You know, whatever the energy is that comes through the person who created it. I don't, you know, my creative process, I don't claim ownership of the songs. Like I'm just, like there's this wonderful Hafiz poem that's, Hafiz is amazing, as are so many things in the world, but you know, that's, it's like 3 lines and it's like, I am but a flute that the Christ's breath moves through. And for me, that's the way I think about my creative process. But so, I'm still in a human body and I experience the full range of emotion that goes with that. Like that's the distinct privilege and challenge of being in a body, that we have all these emotions. A lot of us have grown up learning that only half of those are acceptable, and so we swallow the others. I find it more effective to not do that. Right range poems. But you know, it's like I'm not gonna go out and like take a golf club to a car window. Like I'm gonna use my creativity. I'm gonna use my stage, you know, I choose like safe expressions and I write hate letters, but I don't send them. You know what I mean? It's like maintain the hula hoop here. So does that answer your question?
That was beautiful. It totally was joyful and worked.
Oh, and there are like CDs and stuff out there because I'm a mailing list. Self-promo.
Where exactly are they?
On top of the refrigerator, where you which is fitting because I like snacks. But where the organic snack bars usually are, you can't miss them. It's a basket of CDs and a little mailing list, and if you sign it, please write really legibly, like pretend you're a typewriter. You know, and I have no change, so if you want to buy CDs, it's honor system, whatever.
And you have some things out as well.
Right, yeah, there's some mandala stuff and greeting cards and a workshop announcement. I have a workshop next weekend on that table
In the back.
out there by the TV, and an email list if you're interested in a workshop or anything.
And Jorge?
I have a little stand. When you came in, there is a big print, and there is some literature on the class that I teach. There is an email list. If you would like to learn more about this, give me your email, we'll be in touch. And there is some books that the studio has that you can purchase, and all these prints, of course, are for sale, and there's press leads on the walls and on the back wall. So I also want to say thank you to Sally in the name of all of us. Because without your intention and your facilitation, this would have never happened. So thank you for making this
Thank you.
happen.
And I have to actually thank Lori for allowing us to use the space and, and letting us do this here.
What's really interesting is when Achaessa was talking about intention, when I was building space, it was partially through construction, and I said, it'd be so, from coming from David's retreats, we'd have those nights where people would just get up and do, they're kind of goof around and do whatever creative endeavor they were exploring. It was just fun, it was a great way for everybody to become comfortable with each other and get to know each other, and there were so many artists. And I just thought, this would be fantastic, like have an open mic night once a month. And I put that intention out. I just never, I was like, got so involved with all the other stuff of running the hub, but yet it was always in my heart that I wanted this to happen. And then so when Celeb contacted me, and she just took this thing and just made it happen. And I was like, oh, I was like, yes! yeah, my heart is so full. Thank you.
One last thing, anybody else want to say anything else that you do? Jeffrey teaches yoga classes here. Yeah, more self-promo.
I'm teaching breathwork tomorrow night, 6:30.
And if you've never experienced that, it's an incredible experience, so we encourage you guys to try that out.
I'm going to teach a workshop December 9th, Sunday, from 1 to 5. Thank you, Lori and Scott, for opening up to this wonderful opportunity to teach something. It's called A Pathway to Conscious Sexuality. I'm a certified sexological body worker. I'm a tantrika of about 15 years at this point, and I am a somatic sex educator for adults. And I'm drawing from 3,000 years of the Tao of sexology, from the reverent approach of Tantra and sacred sexuality, and from modern sex education, and I'm weaving it all into one concise, beautiful afternoon of dialogue around any issue around sexuality.
And for me, in December, I'll be performing in a new comedy at Pacific Resident Theater over in Venice. So if you haven't been, it's a good time to go. And then also just an ask, Kathleen and I are working on a kids show called Silly Show. And so if any of you guys know anything about, I don't know, the process of like pitching shows, developing shows, whatever, yeah, talk to me. We're having a ton of fun working on it, and I've been really inspired writing it, and I'm going to film a little teaser next weekend with my niece. So, you know, it's happening, it's growing, it's manifesting, so if nothing else, just, yeah, I don't know, I think share a little bit of happy energy back. It's flowing out this way, and so, yeah, we'll see what becomes of it.
I'm a little concerned that you and Kathleen aren't really very silly.
So thank you.
I also want to say that we're giving a Tantra workshop. That's what we also do. We're doing Tantra with specific shamanic background. So it's a different kind of brand of Tantra. There's a lot out there. This is in Venice. And if you want to go to the website, tantrala.org. It's next Saturday, and we would be happy to have you.
Awesome. And I'll say my last tidbit of promo. I'm going to be teaching an improvised dance workshop in Lincoln Heights. It's at a loft space. So if you're at all interested in exploring and being inspired by your own movement, please come and try it out. It will have individual, duet, and group basically tools given to you so that you can just kind of work in your own space. But it's a little different than some of the other stuff in Santa Monica, like Dance Alive. It's much more guided. But if you're interested in that, I have flyers in the back.
I want to say one thing that's not self-promotion. I just want to say thank you to all of you for the grace that you displayed. It's to do improv, to do any type of performance is a scary thing. And to do improv is even scarier. And it takes a lot of courage. But you guys gave us a safe space in which to be courageous, and look at what you created. I mean, really, you heard half the people get up here and say, I had nothing planned. So look at what you created. You created this. So I would just ask that you be as graceful and courageous with yourselves in your own lives, and giving yourselves that space to be creative and be improvisational in your own life. Because it's not about us. We're not unique. Everybody can do this. Yes. Everybody has it in them. So go out there, be crazy.